Welcome back to another episode of Red Carpet Living with Jen. I am your hostess, Jennifer Mercado, Florida-based realtor, and today we're going to talk about the circle of life for a real estate transaction. Welcome back. In a previous episode, I discussed that there are about 1,000 and then some steps itemized with every transaction that a realtor deals with. But today I wanted to kind of chunk those into like the three different stages that a real estate transaction kind of lives in. So I'll kind of start with that. And the reason that I wanted to do this episode is because I have deals that are all kind of like in different stages at the circle of life for a real estate transaction. So I wanted to share with you guys what that means. So typically, if you're representing the buyer and you've shown them a few houses, you found the one that you love, that they love, and you've committed to a contract on paper, for me, that's when the timeline starts. So you have your offer in, it's fully executed, your seller has signed. And for the buyer's agent, a lot of things need to happen within the either 7 or 10 day window that they have for the inspection period. So you submit your offer, you get it signed, you go into escrow, you deposit the money, you immediately book an inspection because time is of the essence. You want to make sure you're doing everything within that time. All of that gets done within the first 7 to 10 days of a transaction. Once you've done that and the home inspection comes back clear, then it goes into what I like to call phase 2, which is where the mortgage company really takes kind of the lead of what's going on. So they go ahead and they order the appraisal, they order a wind mitigation report if one needs to be done, anything else that's kind of in between those stages to get their file complete to provide to the lender, that gets done in the mortgage phase. And then after that, we have the last phase or phase 3, when you get closer to closing. So that's everything's been submitted. The processor and the underwriter have really done all that they could. They have all the information from the buyers and they move it on to get approved for a closing. And then we get a closing date. So in 2 of my deals, I'm representing the buyer and we're at the point now where we're entering phase 3, where the reports and the inspection and everything that needs to be done is done. We're committed to paper and we're ready to go. And then we pivot now as the seller's agent. I have a deal right now. Well, I have one that just closed. So I have one that just closed and then another one that's just at the end of phase 1, which is that inspection period. So me representing the seller, it's fun because I get to wait for a contract to be provided for me. I send it over to my sellers, assuming everything's okay. We go ahead and sign. I wait to be notified that the escrow deposit has been done. I wait to know when the inspection is. I await the report, make sure that there's nothing that needs to get done. If so, I'll speak with my seller about it. And then, I'm just coordinating at that time what it is that my seller needs to provide the property access for the buyer. And then after that, when we go into phase 2, again, the mortgage kind of takes the lead. They take care of everything that needs to get done. The title company also does their part where they make sure that there's nothing outstanding, that the house is going to be clear or of clear title in order to pass it on to the next buyer. And then phase 3 again is when we have everything kind of ready, just waiting for the selling period, or I'm sorry, the closing date to be confirmed. So I refer to that because I had a few deals that kind of started just on the heels of another. So as one ended phase 1, the next one started in phase 1, and then that one ended phase 1, and the next one went into phase 2, and then I started another one back at phase 1. And it reminds me of that book by, I want to say it's Albert Camus, maybe The Stranger. My philosophy friends, please don't judge me that it's been a while since I've read it, but essentially in the book, he talks about like at the beginning of the story, it's like, oh, let me walk you through. And then you get to the end and you end the book and then you're back at the beginning, like, oh, let me walk you through again. And I feel like that's kind of the loop that I've been, which is a great loop to be in. And as a real estate agent, because you've got things consistently happening. So you're always at the beginning of something as something else ends. But that reference just resonated with me. So I wanted to share it with you guys that, yeah, I'm in the circle of life with 3 active transactions, 1 that just closed and 1 that's at the beginning stages where we just got everything in writing. So very fortunate to be busy, but I wanted to let you know what I call the different phases in the real estate transaction without going into too much detail because there's lists for days of every single item that needs to be taken care of, but just a general gist. That's what it is. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you're catching me on YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. If you're catching me on any of the audio distribution channels, please be sure to subscribe as well. I'm on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, and for other distributions, you can find me at anchor.fm. I'm also on Facebook. My Facebook page is Jennifer Mercado Realtor. I'm on Instagram, Jen Sells Luxury. I am on LinkedIn, Jennifer Mercado Realtor. And I also have a webpage, www.jennifermercadorealtor.com, where you can find listings that are active and featured with my company, Signature One Luxury Estates. Thank you again for spending this time with me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I look forward to our next podcast, which will be airing in a couple of weeks. Thank you and take care.